We often say appearance reflects the heart, meaning that a person's inner goodness or evil will be shown in their outward appearance. This is the essence of ancient physiognomy. However, this phrase has a deeper meaning. What we perceive in the world is often a reflection of our inner state, and the true nature of the world may not be as we see it. Hello, welcome to my channel. Today we continue interpreting Laozi's Tao Te Ching. Let's take a look at how Laozi views good and evil, right and wrong, and how we can objectively view everything and act in accordance with the Tao. Good and evil, born from the heart. Appearance is born from the heart has two meanings. The first is that a person's inner goodness or evil will manifest in their appearance. Here, appearance refers to facial features and looks. However, appearance also has a second meaning which can be understood as external phenomena. What are external phenomena? The phrase, appearance is born from the heart, originates from the Sutra of Impermanence. Buddha said, all worldly matters have no fixed form. Appearance is born from the heart. What is visible is not truly existent. What is perceptible is not truly real. Fate is self-created. Appearance is born from the heart. Circumstances change with the heart. Magnanimity makes greatness. This means that the world originally has no specific shapes and concepts. The notions of good, evil, etc. arise because our hearts change. What our eyes see is not necessarily the truth of the world, and what we feel is not necessarily the essence of the world. For example, if someone loses a valuable item at home and suspects the neighbor after some deduction, they will see everything the neighbor does as suspicious. However, once the item is found at home, the neighbor no longer appears to be a thief. The neighbor's appearance didn't change, only the observer's heart did. We can do a simple test to experience appearance is born from the heart. Look at this picture. Do you see a young woman in profile or an old woman looking down? Take 10 seconds to observe. This is one of the most famous optical illusions, created by British cartoonist William Hill, titled My Wife and My Mother-in-Law. An Australian scientific team conducted a test with this image and concluded that perception of this drawing largely depends on the viewer's age. This conclusion was published in the British journal Scientific Reports. Statistics showed that younger viewers often saw a young woman, and the younger they were, the younger the woman appeared. Older viewers mostly saw an elderly woman. We often say not to make assumptions and to rely on what we see, but sometimes what we see is not necessarily true. So do you still trust your seemingly correct thoughts? Why is there a distinction between good and evil? In today's fast-paced technological world, vast amounts of information are produced daily. After reading a social hotspot, we unconsciously adopt binary concepts like good and evil, right and wrong, leading to debates. If we casually browse through some trending news or videos, we find that almost all information is accompanied by disputes. Academics dislike mystical explanations, herbalists dislike criticisms of traditional Chinese medicine, the wealthy feel superior, while the poor lament the disparities of the world. People argue daily, seemingly about good and evil, right and wrong, but actually about their positions. Many issues themselves do not have right or wrong because of different perspectives and positions, leading to judgments and debates. For instance, is education the only way out? Whether the answer is yes or no, it's not entirely correct, because each person's situation is different, and what suits them varies. As Zhuangzi said, many issues in this world lack a unified standard, and debates arise because people stand from different positions, living in their own worlds. When someone is upset, they will resent the entire world. When someone is in a good mood, they might forgive all mistakes around them. A person with a troubled heart will be startled by any slight movement, while a person with a bright heart will view everything with tolerance. We need to be more objective towards this world and everything in it. People have various emotions and regard things as good or bad, right or wrong because of their hearts. When one's heart changes, the world changes. A person's view of the Tao shapes their view of the world. The essence of Tao Te Ching. How can we attain the Tao? Laozi said in the second chapter of the Tao Te Ching, "When everyone knows beauty is beauty, there is already ugliness. When everyone knows good is good, there is already evil. Thus, being and non-being create each other. Difficult and easy complete each other. Long and short form each other. High and low incline towards each other. Sound and tone harmonize each other. Front and back follow each other. When we define beauty, ugliness appears. When we define good, evil appears. When people face something, they often define it through good and evil, right and wrong. However, things themselves are not necessarily black and white. We view everything in opposition because we cling to illusions and constantly argue with others. Thus, Laozi advocated for non-contention and non-action. To contend means believing one is right, while non-contention is the subtlety of the Tao. How to handle these situations? Laozi said in the Tao Te Ching, "Therefore always be without desire to observe its wonders. Always have desire to observe its manifestations." It means to forget our subjective notions of good and bad and desires to rediscover the world. We will then perceive true beauty and hear the celestial sounds, Zhuangzi's celestial sounds. We often say that beautiful music sounds like celestial music. But what is celestial music? This term is from Zhuangzi's Qi Wu Lun. In the state of Chu, there was a man named Nanguo who, during meditation, reached a state where he felt united with the universe. His disciple asked what the highest state of self-forgetting was. Nanguo explained that the world has three kinds of sounds: human sounds, earth sounds, and celestial sounds. Human sounds are produced by musical instruments. Earth sounds are the sounds of wind blowing across the land. And celestial sounds are the beautiful sounds made by the wind blowing through all things in the world. To hear celestial sounds, one must reach a state of self-forgetting and unity with the universe. Celestial sounds are the natural sounds heard when one lets go of attachments and personal stances. Music itself has no emotions, good or bad. People's reactions depend on their mental state. When happy, cheerful music makes one feel joyous. When sad, even cheerful music can be unsettling. When calm, one hears music as it truly is, which is the celestial sound. Thus, the goodness or badness of music doesn't lie in the music itself, but in the listener. Similarly, the goodness or badness of anything doesn't lie in the thing itself, but in the person observing it. Laozi said in the 11th chapter of the Tao Te Ching, 30 spokes share one hub. It is the empty space in the center that makes it useful as a wheel. Mold clay into a vessel. It is the space inside that makes it useful as a container. Cut out doors and windows to make a room. It's the spaces within that make it useful as a room. Therefore, what is there is beneficial, but what is not there makes it useful. 30 spokes converge at one hub, but the usefulness of the wheel lies in the empty space in the center. A lump of clay seems useless alone, but when shaped into a vessel, it gains value. Doors and windows are just openings, but when used in building a house, they are invaluable. Thus, the usefulness of things lies in their emptiness and how they are used. Empty yourself to avoid fixed thinking. A cup is useful because it is empty and can hold water. A house is useful because of the space inside, which can accommodate people. A person has a good side and may also have a bad side. This is the wisdom of ancient sages. Laozi said, "Reversal is the movement of the Tao. Yielding is the function of the Tao. All things in the world come from being. Being comes from non-being. Because of fixed thinking, one can only see the good or bad of things and cannot see them comprehensively. This leads to being unable to comprehend the Tao. The joys and sorrows of this world are determined by our thinking, not because they are inherently joyful or sorrowful. As the saying goes, when things reach the extreme, they reverse. When one is very successful, they must be cautious, and when one is in a downturn, They should calmly seek opportunities. Some might question, what's the use of ancient wisdom? Isn't making money the most useful thing in society? Money allows one to live better, but the definition of good and bad varies with perspective. What is useful for one may not be for another. Is exploring life's wisdom useful? Is making money wrong? There is no single answer. It depends on one's mindset and life stage. Everyone has their perspective, but when one stubbornly believes their view is the only correct one, they are truly wrong. Arguing with a stubborn person is like staring into the abyss, eventually leading to one falling into it. The principle of no external matter and no external reason. This principle, no external matter, no external reason, comes from Wang Yangming's The Instructions for Practical Living and is the essence of his mind philosophy. Material refers to the world we see, and reason refers to our concepts of right, wrong, good, and evil. Because a person has subjective thoughts, they see different external matters and distinguish right and wrong. What does no external reason mean? Wang Yangming illustrated this with a story. While weeding with his disciples, one disciple complained about the difficulty of cultivating goodness and eradicating evil. Wang Yangming explained that their understanding of good and evil was too superficial. From a flower's perspective, grass is evil because it absorbs nutrients. But when feeding animals, grass is good because it sacrifices itself. Is grass inherently good or evil? No, it's our thoughts that make it so. If we consider it good, it can be good. If we consider it evil, it can be evil. Our thoughts determine our perception of the world. What does no external matter mean? Once, while traveling in Nanjing, a friend pointed to a flower and asked Wang Yangming how the flower's existence related to his heart. Wang Yangming replied, "Before you saw this flower, it was at peace with your heart. After seeing it, it appeared in your heart, showing the flower is not outside your heart. The flower symbolizes all beautiful things. They exist in our hearts. This concept is similar to appearance is born from the heart. With a negative mindset, we see the bad in things and forget they have no inherent good or bad." Understanding Laozi's principle. With this understanding, we grasp Laozi's principle in the 14th chapter of the Tao Te Ching. Reversal is the movement of the Tao. Yielding is the function of the Tao. The attributes of things constantly move towards their opposite and return at the critical point, repeating the cycle. For example, sunlight is weakest at night, gradually strengthens at dawn, peaks at noon, then weakens again. This cycle continues. Similarly, the ups and downs of life follow this pattern. In times of success, one must remain vigilant. In times of adversity, one must patiently find opportunities. Some might ask, didn't Laozi advocate non-action in the Tao Te Ching? If grass has no inherent good or evil, why weed it? Laozi did advocate non-action, but preceded it with the words, in accordance with nature. Non-action doesn't mean doing nothing, it means acting in harmony with natural laws and the Tao's principles. Following one's passion is also in accordance with one's Tao. Birth, aging, illness, and death are natural laws. Prosperity leads to decline, a rule of all things. The key is not to view everything from a subjective perspective, but to empty oneself, forget personal stances, and see everything objectively. Learn to find the Tao in everything, use the Tao of everything, and act in accordance with the great Tao's rules. If you found today's content helpful, please like and share it with more people. Thank you for watching.